Hey everyone, this is Chris and welcome to Unwanted Tutorials. Unwanted Tutorials is a loose collection of how-to, hands-on, decidedly irreverent videos in which I aim to enable you to create engaging content using DCS's hellish creation tools. Today we continue our look at basic unit management, this time ground units. Unit management is one of, if not the most important tasks of Mission Editor. By now, I think that we can all agree that Mission Editor has little to no quality, and I try to retain my serene calm even while discussing obvious idiocy. So, group management. Similar to naval units, you place a group of ground vehicles by clicking on the tank symbol on the left, then choosing combined joint on the right, then choosing a good unit type. Since we are going to change the type later anyway, I'm going to stick with the APC AAV7 that is defaulted. I want to place this group at a prominent crossroads inside Honey, a town west of Kutaisi. I zoom in and click on the map roughly where I want to place the first unit of the group. Once I click, the blue APC appears. Then click on the Edit button to get out of Waypoint Add mode that Mission Editor silently has entered. Now I do something in Mission Editor that makes matters more difficult. I zoom in further and accurately place the unit at the top of the T section by clicking and dragging it until it's exactly where I want it, and I change its heading until it feels right. So far, so good. Now, let's add another unit to the group and also position that. I make sure that the first unit is selected. In Mission Editor, we create units by copying a unit and then curtail the copy. I click on the plus button in the clown control. A new unit appears, offset by 20 meters, some 65 feet, in the direction that the original unit is facing. I now go ahead to position the new unit by clicking and dragging it. Unfortunately, what happens is that both units move. Why? In Mission Editor, probably because the developers are idiots and were never forced to use their own ill-devised products, the first unit in a group, the unit with the 1 next to it, is special. Mission Editor is so cheaply made that it can only select single objects. With apologies to Blackadder, it seems that some low-watt light bulb at Eagle Dynamics thought, "I have a cunning plan." If you select the first unit in a group, that selects all units of that group, but only for movement. Oh, and of course there's no visual feedback for this. And of course, no undo. So, if you click on the 1 unit in a group, 9 times out of 10 you're screwed, because any movement of that unit will move all units, no matter how much time you spend to arrange the others. Yeah, a mental midget designed this feature, and his brain-dead colleagues simply nodded in agreement. Bravo! So, we first move the 1 unit to its location, then move the original, which is now number 2, back to where we originally placed it. Then, with the now second unit selected, we click on plus to create the third and final unit, then drag that to its location. This time, positioning works as expected. So, what do we learn from this? First, create all the units that you may need and only then position them. And always start by positioning the unit 1. Should you later need more units, never copy unit 1. Now that we have positioned all units, let's make them into the types that we need. I want the group to consist of 1 Hummer, a Zoo Shilka, and a soldier. Why? No reason. Just to show you how this works in principle. Now, as before, you need to know the type of the unit that you want to place. Yes, Eagle Dynamics really seem to hate their customers. And to make matters worse, you must also know what category the developers put it in. Because if you choose the wrong category, you won't find the unit's type even if you know it exactly. For example, DCS currently knows at least 3 different kinds of hammers. So take note that the category is set to armor. Click on type and type in HMM. The choice is reduced to 2, ATGM Humvee and Scout Humvee. Now change the category to unarmed and try the same. Set type to HMM. And suddenly the choice is reduced to LUV Humvee Jeep, a type that did not show up before. This is the kind of crummy interface quality that you have to deal with for all mission designs in DCS. You will lose lots of time building your missions, simply because of the brain-dead interface that impedes you rather than supports you. There is no discovery built into Mission Editor, except discovering new lows in designability. In my mind, whoever built this was not worth their money. We'll return to this rather large issue of non-discovering. You must know what you look for in order to look for it in a moment. For now, we'll go with the LUV Hammer. Next, I want Unit 2 to be a Zoo Shilker, an Eastern anti-aircraft unit. Again, I know what a Shilker is, and therefore I know where to look. It's in the air defense category, and I type SHIL, S-H-I-L, to reduce the selection to 1. If you don't know its common name, nor that zoo is an intentionally wrong pronunciation of ZSU, you'll have a bad time finding it. Not to mention the fact that we only see the Shilker because we chose Combined Joint as a country, because otherwise Eastern units don't show up in Western searches. I want the final unit be a soldier. I choose Infantry as category. Let's browse through what is available. We see a couple of soldier types and their armament. I choose Infantry M4 Georgia for the simple reason that I, probably unlike you, know that this unit has much better animation and is newer than the pure Infantry M4 unit that is essentially the same unit, just with a model that is some 20 years older and much crappier. There are also a number of checkboxes, of which only 2 are of real interest to us. If you design missions for combined arms, the Player Can Drive checkbox allows players to control that unit if it is checked. The Cold at Start checkbox is primarily designed with IR sensors in mind. A hot engine means that it shows up better on IR seekers. Implementation in DCS is, as I found out, spotty, so do not try to rely on it. Note that, similar to naval units, even though you can click on the Weapons tab for each unit separately, there is very little to configure. One thing that might be interesting is the paint scheme. This is available for some units on a type-by-type basis. Select the Humvee and, with that unit selected, go to the Weapons Loadout tab. Now click on Paint Scheme. Currently default is selected. Click on it to disclose a list of possible paint schemes. Just for the sake of it, choose RGC Winter. See how the paint scheme changes. This is a rather nice feature. Simply remember that paint schemes gobble up video RAM like candy. Next, let's place a SAM battery for blue. I'm aiming to make this a relaxed casual mission, and I want to set up a SAM2 group. And here you are hit over the head by another UI atrocity. You see, Eagle Dynamics simply assume that you, the content creator, are intimately familiar with the various weapon systems and know that in order for SAM sites to work in DCS, the group must comprise of a very specific combination of vehicles. For example, in order to function, a SAM2 group must consist of an S75 fan song tracking radar, a P19 flat phase search radar, a command post in the form of a ZIL 131 truck configured as command and control unit, and some SA2 guideline launches. And if you want the group to reload, you must also add a couple of Ural 4320T trucks to supply more ammunition. Simple, right? You won't find a word of this in Eagle Dynamics quality documentation. If you get the components wrong, the group won't function correctly. So yes, the composition of some groups does matter, and nobody tells you about it. If done wrong, the group simply and silently fails. Often the first inkling of an issue you get is when your players complain. I recommend that you listen to them, rather than take the ED approach of ignoring feedback. So yes, you must know what combination of vehicles enable groups to perform certain functions. And no, Mission Editor won't help. Now, luckily, and after only a couple of decades, Eagle Dynamics have seen that maybe this was a bridge too far, and recently they added a feature that intends to take away some of the pain while leaving in generous amounts of classic Eagle Dynamics UX ineptitudes: templates. To use templates, you must again know what you're looking for, and different releases of DCS come with wildly different templates. I don't know what is available to you. Here, I'll deploy a SAM2 group, which I know is available, while I create this video. To deploy a SAM2 template, I first click on the two connected squares above the bridge icon. The right side now switches to template control. The first control is a pop-up menu that reads Combined Joint Blue, so the assumption is that this controls which country the group will belong to. Unfortunately, this is only half true. It also sets the filter for all templates, meaning the templates are filtered by country, not function. I'd be surprised to learn that whoever designed this has an IQ higher than their shoe size. In my DCS, there's exactly one template defined that belongs to Combined Blue, NASM's BTY CJTF. So, no SAM2 template is available for Combined Blue. Let's try another tech. Now, from my time in the German military, I know that at least Russia had SAM2 sites, so I changed the first pop-up to Russia. The second pop-up is now populated by SAM10, and disclosing what else is in there shows us that yes, there are two SAM2 templates. I choose the early one and move the mouse to where I want to place the SAM site and click. A large group of units appears. Two issues though. First, the group isn't facing the direction I want. That is easy to remedy. Without clicking into the map, click and drag into the round heading control and make it face due west, some 280-ish. Second, the group is red, not blue. We need to change this. Don't click anywhere. We currently are in Clown Show Place Template mode, and clicking on the map will place another template. Yeah, the clowns at Eagle Dynamics really don't know UX. Press the Escape key instead. Mission Editor reverts to neutral editing mode. Now, click on any of the newly placed red units from the template. See that the country is Russia. Click into Russia and change the country to Combined Joint Blue. Finally, and completely outside of the unit management loop, we have added a blue SAM2 site. So, are templates the way to go? Unfortunately, the amount of templates available is currently small indeed. Mission Editor urgently needs templates for naval groups, a typical strike group, carrier group, task group, or amphibious assault would really help. Same goes for good templates for typical ground groups for different eras and purposes. Then again, we are working with an Eagle Dynamics product here, so I recommend that you don't expect quality and be happy for anything they throw our way. Occasionally it may even work, and at this point it's difficult to make things worse. Alright, we have worked our way through unit placements for static objects, naval and ground units. Air units remain, and once we are done with that, I'll try and figure out how to explain assigning routes without having a stroke. Until then, have fun and take care!